Welcome back to the program. Again, Stan Gravois tonight hosting Bayou Time in for Martin Falls. Martin a little bit under the weather. I do want to remind you later on we have the TGMC segment. Tonight on TGMC segment will be Dr. Jonathan Allen, and he'll be talking about pool safety, pool and swimming safety. So that's certainly something we need to be aware of in the dog days of summer. Also, the Nicholls State University segment right after that. And we have Mr. Todd Keller, who's the director of the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program. Very good program over there at Nicholls. Not to mention, at the very end of the show, we also have sports. We have been talking about $60 million that has been earmarked to go towards our coastline, and this was done today over at Nicholls State University at the ballroom, done by Governor Bobby Jindal, and he's going to wrap things up. He's going to talk a little bit about a synopsis of everything that went on today, and you can give us a call, 879-1231, if you want to voice your opinion on that or anything that you would like to talk about. We'll certainly take your call. So here we go, about 50 seconds of Bobby Jindal wrapping things up.
Make one final point and then we'll be done. I just want to thank again, now you've heard from two of the most prominent environmental and conservation groups. We've got a number of other groups represented here. I also want to again commend our regional leadership. The reality is you've seen unprecedented cooperation across political boundaries, across geographical lines. The reality is coastal restoration works across parish lines. We saw the oil spill cause damage across parish lines. You've seen these group of parish presidents come together to use CDBG dollars, to use state surplus dollars, to use capital outlay dollars, to use CAP dollars, to use other dollars to build projects with regional impact. And so they don't come to the table saying it only has to benefit one parish or one community. They understand that they by working together, we can get an even greater impact for the dollars we invest. So I really want to thank them for their leadership and working together as one group, speaking with one voice to help protect the coast of Louisiana. Thank y'all very much.
And that wraps it up on that subject. The phone lines are all lit up, so I'm sure we'll have some opinions on that. Once again, call in for that or anything else that you would like to discuss, 879-1231. Let's get to the phone line in the order that they've come in. Hello, you're on Bayou Time.
Good afternoon, Sam.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, and you, man. Good to talk to you again.
Good to see you. I say see you. You can see me. I can't see you, but it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, you too, Mr. Sam. I think it's a good thing what the governor is doing for this money for the project. But, Sam, I want to know one question. Who's going to handle this money? Who's going to handle the money for the project?
So you think the money's a good idea. You sure just hope that they go through with where it's supposed to go to.
That's what I'm scared of. It's going to get in the wrong hands. Somebody's going to take that money.
Well,
that's what I'm afraid of.
You know, we've been so long politicking for coastal restoration, for coastal development, for everything that goes along with our coastline. I certainly hope that this is something that's pointing us in the right direction. And $60 million, although we think it's a lot, and obviously it is a lot of money, when you're talking about what has to be done, I hope it's just the tip of the iceberg of what's to come. But like you said, I'm not quite sure in the political arena how you find out where exactly this money was spent in the long run, but you have a good point. Let's hope that it all goes in the right direction.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sam. Because if they do take this money and don't put it where they go, I believe they ought to get the fellas that take the money and toss and sell them. Because, look, man, that's going to protect a lot of people. They need that in Homer and everywhere else, bro. They need that bad.
I agree.
And Sam, I want to ask you another question, and probably you don't know this, maybe you do, I don't know. Well, I don't understand what's going on with the gasoline right now, because the president had opened the oil reserve to make the price of oil go down, and they make the gas go down, and which the oil reserves are still open, and why is the gas going back up?
You're right. You got the wrong guy on that, and hopefully, and I know Jason back there sometimes will do a little research while we're on, and if he sees something that he sees a jump in gas prices, every time I'm on, he certainly lets me know right away what's going down. I don't know. We're in such gridlock right now with our debt and things like that sometimes we focus on one thing and we kind of put things on the back burner, and then all of a sudden we start to see that kind of sneak up on us, and that's kind of what's happening with gas right now.
Yeah, see, Sam, what's going on when the gas goes down, the station take a month before they go down over here. But when it goes up, they go up to see they're at the station with it.
Right.
They ain't right. But another thing I want to say, Sam, the oil company don't know that they're hurting this economy to keep this price high. That's what keeping the economy bad around the high price of oil. because it's making everything else rise, making people lose jobs because of this. I think the oil will go down, insurance will go down a little bit. I think people will start going back to work, and if the dollar will go back up, I think it will bring this country back together. But as long as the dollar's down and the gas is sky high and groceries high and insurance are high, I don't believe things going to get better, man.
I hope, all we can do is say a prayer and hope that things do. And right now, like I said, with the gridlock on our debt and such things.
Yes, sir. And I hope Martin get better soon. And nice talking to you, Mr. Sam. And I'll see you one day again. Have a good evening.
Good. Thank you for calling in.
You're sure welcome.
I will say this on the gas situation. I'll just share this with you. I did go on a vacation a couple of weeks ago, drove, and it was an extended vacation down to Florida. The one thing I will say is I actually tested the situation with ethanol and gas that has no ethanol. And although obviously gas with no ethanol is higher, I put it in my tank and I charted everything. I got a lot more miles to the gallon with the gas that had no ethanol in it. I don't know what that means. I have certainly no horse in the race as far as all the oil companies go, but I tried it just to see. And I got to tell you, I thought, man, I'm going to go get the cheapest gas I can in Houma, and I'm going to go on my vacation. And then I said, no, let me try this. Let me try no ethanol. Did it and got a lot more miles to the gallon to the point where actually it was cheaper to do it that way. Don't know what that means. I'm not an expert on any of that. Just thought I'd share that with you. Here we go. Back to the phone line. Hello, you're on Bayou Time.
Stan, my man with the Stan Gravois. How you doing, sir?
Good. Got to be Tricky Ricky.
What you expect, Trout?
Hey, what do you think about the governor coming in and $60 million for us?
Well, I agree with that first caller.
You want to know what?
They got to put Tricky Ricky in there to watch to make sure where the money goes. Put me in there. I guarantee you, you ain't even got to pay me. I will make sure where it goes where it's supposed to go.
You know what I think's going to happen? Martin or Mr. Jimmy or Mr. Jason's going to be hosting this in, say, a month or so. And they're going to get a call either from you, Ricky, or from somebody who's going to say, you know what? I know they're supposed to be dredging Bayou Lafourche. I never saw a drag line or anything in Bayou Lafourche. Somebody's got to tell me all that money that was earmarked to go in and dredge Bayou Lafourche from this $60 million. Is it happening? Where is it? What's happening? So you got to be the watchdog for us.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. And another thing, they had a caller that called last night, and he said Tricky Ricky ought to get his facts straight. When I started mentioning about the treadmill and the pickle study for the government, well, I actually want to thank that caller because I got this information off a TV ad. But he took the time to find out what was happening, what was going on, and I appreciate that guy. I appreciate him so much, he'll never know. And I'd like for that individual, I want to thank him, but I also want to ask that caller to keep up the good work, but find out where all of this money's going. Because if he can find out this information, he can find out a whole lot more.
Well, you got me a little bit because actually I was driving in from Baton Rouge. I went to a high school convention out there and came in to do sports last night, but was on the road while if I'm right, it was Jason on last night. And I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that somebody had called in after you.
Exactly. Well, one of them callers, like I said, I appreciate a little criticism. I don't find nothing wrong with it. And if I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong.
Right.
But I just like the idea that he actually dug into these facts just to set the record straight.
Very good.
But like I said, if he can do that, he can do a whole lot more for this television station on letting the good people of the Tri-Paris area know a whole lot more than what I know. Because like I said, I'm not really all that good with the political world. But the information he fed out was so vital to let the people know. I appreciate callers like that.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
what makes HTV. That's what's going to make, well, I ain't going to say it makes HTV because Martin made HTV, but it helps Martin and his viewers for having callers like that checks things out. So
I
want
agree.
to thank that caller personally.
I agree. What this program is here to do is to let you guys have your opinion, and while that opinion is happening, we learn, and we all learn. And when they ask me to come up and host this, and I always say, hey, I'm just a sports guy, all I am is a guy sitting in the middle for you guys to call and give an opinion, and there are folks out there, Ricky, I know you may not believe this, sometimes they don't agree with you, and sometimes they do. And it's just a situation where we could all learn from it, you know?
Exactly. And the more we learn as a parish, as a tri-parish area, the more, let's just say that the
better
truth
off
comes out.
The better off we'll be, right?
Well, that exactly, too, you know?
That's right. That's
but,
right.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I wish I emphasized this to caller to check into this government waste, because like I said, I was pretty impressed on how in depth he went on finding out this information.
Very good.
You know as well as I do, and the people of the tri-parish area know about government waste.
That's right.
And like I told them about the Social Security, boy, I tell you what, I can guarantee you, as sure as my name is Enrique, I guarantee you, I don't think anybody will be voting for Obama after that statement.
Well, we'll see what happens with all of that.
All right, well, I want to give me a shout out to good old Jeff, A.K. Perot, the ferocious one. He's the one that makes you scared of the dark all over again.
Thanks a lot for calling in.
All right, Stan, thanks for putting up with me, brother.
All right, we'll move on to the next caller. Hello, you're on Bayou Time.
Yes, how you doing this evening?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, I'm changing my opinion. The Republicans have convinced me. The money the man was talking about for the he just talked about
the restoration projects, or
right?
Yeah.
I hope that money don't go the same way they did to the little children down here in Louisiana about the lotto money. But the lotto money come up missing for the little children. Well, we're the most uneducated state in the United States. The governor has cut the education, and then somebody has misplaced the lotto money. But you know, I go along with that. I think we should do like the Republican said. Let this country default. Let's go down there and default. Let's get these old deadbeats out of these nursing homes. Get them up off their sick beds. The blind, the disabled, they can do something. And pull themselves up by their bootstrap and give them a voucher, a $10,000 or $15,000 voucher, and let them make it on their own. Because we got to change this thing, and we got to give the oil companies more tax breaks. We are not giving them enough. They don't have to pay royalties to Terrebonne Parish and LaProuche Parish. Let's cut the royal payments off. We don't need that. We can exist on our own. We can make it together as good Cajun people down here in Louisiana. And let the country go, just let default. We can make it. And let everybody, unemployment is good for corporations. The more unemployed people you have, the lowest you can pay a worker. If Sam don't want to work for a WTV or HTV, they'll get somebody else to take your job.
That is right. Supply and demand.
As long as you see, the next best thing to slavery is minimum wage. So, brothers, if you cut the minimum wage out, you can pay them what you want to pay them. And if you don't like it, we'll have some Hispanics, or we'll have some Malaysians, like the oil companies are doing now. We'll have some Filipinos, like the oil companies are doing now. And we ain't got to worry about hiring no American workers, because they're too uppity. They want minimum wage.
That's right.
So what we should do is just go ahead and let America default, because nothing's going to happen. Everything will be all right. And we get all them folks out of nursing. Like I said, don't want to repeat myself. Get them all out of nursing homes and offer them walkers and offer them hover rounds. They got life too easy. That's what it is.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm going to go back to something you said earlier, and we mentioned this with our first caller, that sometimes when we're looking at one spot because the focus was taken off of something else that was going on, such as gas prices, not too long ago went over to the Mississippi Gulf Coast and was in one of the casinos. Actually, I don't gamble, but I did go to see a concert. And while I was in the casino, I looked around and I thought about Louisiana and how all of this lottery money was going to be for education. And you just don't hear anything about that anymore too much. Or maybe we're not making the money on gambling, which I find is very, very hard to believe.
Well, I can tell you now, Tennessee gave their children $2 billion in the last 7 years. Florida, $2 or $3 or $4, $5 billion. So, but I'm just saying, we don't need that money. We should keep our children ignorant, so they can be behind. So this state can forever be behind all the other states and be used.
Boy,
but anyway, as I said before, unemployment is good for corporations, and long as they keep unemployment high, they can keep wages low. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much for calling in. And, of course, being a little cynical there, but trying to get his point across. But he does have a point. I must say, just a couple of weeks ago, Ted Cassidy, who is our congressman to be from this area, I'm sorry, Bill Cassidy, Ted Cassidy, Bill Cassidy, came in and sat and talked here, and he mentioned that the Lafourche-Terrebonne area was striving before BP. And I think we know that. But it put a focus when BP's situation happened on our area, and then all of a sudden with the moratorium, it kind of took away from us, and we didn't realize, I say we didn't realize, I don't think our nation realized what a strong place we were. And I know he's joking about us seceding a little bit and kind of breaking away, but actually that point is kind of taken a little bit out of context, but we were very strong, and we are very strong, and there are some things that I don't think we needed to have the light shined on as far in certain areas. Coastal restoration with this, I know a lot of our callers are calling in and worried about the money and how it's going to be spent, but if it is done the right way, it's certainly going to be something that is going to enhance our area. The oil industry is coming back slowly but surely. We'll be there. We'll be okay. Let me get back to the phone lines. Hello, you're on Bayou Time.
Hey, good evening, Stan.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good.
A couple of comments on the Bayou Lafourche project. I've got the same reserves that other callers do about the way the money is going to be handled. I think Phase 1 was covered with the Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District. They were normally operating on a budget of about $500,000 a year, and they went from that to $24 million on Phase 1. So I hadn't seen anything accounting-wise on how that money was spent. They're just about finished with that Phase 1 project. And I know in downtown part of Donaldsonville, the bayou was supposed to wind up 60 feet wide and about 6 feet deep. And there's some areas I know that it's not 60 feet wide. So
that's disheartening. And now they're talking about an additional $20 million
right.
to that?
And it's a wide open ball game on that. They say either for additional dredging or pump station upgrade. Well, I don't think you can spend $20 million on a pump station that's already there.
That's right.
Yeah, so,
I agree with that. Let me ask you this. Do you know exactly who is doing this? Is this the state? Is it state workers who do this?
No, it's all contracted.
Contracted.
Right.
Ooh, that makes it...
The best I can understand, there's an engineering firm that actually oversees the project and the cost and how that part of it's handled.
Very good. So this is not the Army Corps of Engineers or anything either?
No,
okay.
Not at all. There was a different sub that did the tree removal and another one that did the actual digging.
Very good. That's educational to me.
Yeah. One other comment. Back before the dredging started, the USGS has a website that shows stream flows in Louisiana, and you can find the flow down Bayou Lafourche on that site. Prior to the dredging, the monitoring equipment was just on the outskirts of Donaldsonville. And it looks like they've changed that to somewhere down in Thibodaux. And in actuality, there's less water going down the bayou now than before they started the dredging.
Is that right?
Correct. So wow. I don't know what's going on there, but
that's scary. That is scary.
Yeah, in fact, when we were having all this rain the last few days, I guess they cut back the flow coming in from the river, and the bayou behind my house has actually gone from muddy to clear, similar to what happened with Gustav when they had that turnover and killed all the fish in the bayou, and we had to boil water for 2 or 3 weeks.
That's right. And they say that's what they're trying to alleviate, situations like that with this. You got me a little skeptical if that's going to happen now.
Well, I just wish there was somebody in the public arena that would at least monitor the money on this deal, make sure we're getting a bang for the buck we should.
I hope so, and that seems to be the gist of a lot of calls tonight. It's a great idea in theory. Let's just hope that everything's being carried through and done the right way.
And also that they're doing exactly what the plan called for doing. You know, unless they open those, because that's on the very northern end where it looks like the bayou's maybe 40, 50 feet wide instead of 60. You know, that's going to be a real restriction and limit the flow no matter what you do.
That's right. Up by Donaldsonville, Bell River, and Assumption, and those areas, right?
Right. But Donaldsonville, you know, they're doing the first 6 miles from Donaldsonville to Belrose. And I'm just about 2 blocks below the bridge where they stopped in Belrose.
Is that right?
Yeah. And but that part is almost done. So I'm hoping the next 20 million will, you know, to come on down the bayou for another 6 or 8 miles.
Yeah. Well, if it was 24 to this point, oh, that's kind of scary to think of what a 20 is going to carry out the rest of the way.
Exactly, because that was 6 miles that they did for the 2024.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a great call. That's a great call. Very informational.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much
Have
for
a good
calling.
night.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Jason is telling me we got to take a quick break. Going to take a quick break. Got a couple of more callers on the line. We'll have time for them, Jason, right? He says yes. We'll take a break. We'll come back. You two guys that are on the line, hold on for a second. We'll be back after this.